بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. وبشر المؤمنين بأن لهم من الله فضلا كبيرا. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو والتجارة والله خير الرازقين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد برادران خيران السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته در آغاز قبل از اینکه به ترجمه آیه مبارک بپردازیم متعلق به این ماه مبارک که ما و شما قرار داریم عبارت از ماه رجب است رجب المرجب یا رجب الاصم هم مشهور است دعای داشتن پیامبر اسلام صلی الله علیه و سلم در این ماه مبارک که اللهم بارک لنا فی رجب و شعبان و بلغنا رمضان یا رب ما برکت نصیب فرما در ماه رجب و در ماه شعبان و ما بر رمضان المبارک برسان که الله تعالی این دعا را در حق ما و شما هم قبول بفرماید قرآن کریم در این ماه ما برکت و همه ما و شما برکت نصیب بفرماید و در ماه شعبان و رمضان بخیر نصیب همه ما و شما باشه و الله تعالی توفیق طاعت و عبادت و بندگی نصیب بفرماید. در این ماه کدام موضوع خاص ذکر نیست در روزه از این ماه کدام حدیثی تو سقه وارد نشده بهتر است که به سنت پیامبر اسلام صلی الله علیه و سلم عمل شود که در هر ماه 3 روزه میگرفتن یا دوشنبه و پنجشنبه باقی قوت جسمانی و هم قوت‌های خود را برای ماه رمضان مبارک چون فرض است برای فرض آمادگی داشته باشید. چند آیه مبارک از سوره جمعه المبارک که و سوره جمعه در قرآن ذکر شده و متعلق با فرضیت این نماز است و فضیلت این روز است. از فضایل این روز 2 رکعت نماز جمعه است و قبل از خطبه است که الله رب العزت می‌فرماید که ای مؤمنان اذا نودی للصلاة من یوم الجمعه فاسعوا الى ذکر الله وذروا البیع ذلكم خیر لكم ان کنتم تعلمون. در ابتدای هر عمل الله رب العزت مخاطب می‌سازد مؤمنان را. شرط اول در زندگی هر انسان توحید است. از آدم علیه السلام تا نبی کریم صلی الله علیه و سلم تمام انبیا اولین دعوتشان چی بود؟ لا اله الا الله. این مردم الله را باید بندگی بشناسید، موحد باشید. تا زمانی که موحد نباشید هیچ امر بالای شما نیست. چرا؟ وقتی که شما موحد هستید بالای الله باور دارید، یقین کامل دارید که الله مالک تمام کائنات است، الله خلق کننده تمام کائنات است، الله تعالی خلق کننده تمام انسان هاست، زندگی میبخشه و زندگی میگیره، این همش به امر الله است. بعد از توحید باز فرائض است و احکام است که الله تعالی و شما را امر میکنه که یا ایها الذین آمنوا. وقتی که موضوع عبادات می باشد الله تعالی نمیگه که یا ایها الناس ای همه مردم، ایمان مؤمنین را مخاطب خاص میسازد که مؤمنان بالای شما نماز است، بالای شما روزه است، بالای شما حج است، بالای شما این عبادت است. تمام عبادت ها امرش بعد از ایمان ذکر میشه. اولین چیز ایمان است. در وعده که انسان داخل میشه و مین گیت به اصطلاح اولین کلمه توحید است که لا اله الا الله. و آدم علیه السلام تا نبی کریم صلی الله علیه و سلم تمام انبیاء اولین پیغام اولین دعوتشان همین بوده که یا قوم قولوا لا اله الا الله تفلحوا، شما بگویید که الله وحده لا شریک است، هیچ شریکی ندارد، شما کامیاب میشید. در امتایی که راه توحید را گرفتن و به الله وحده لا شریک ایمان داشتن اونا کامیاب و موفق بودن. در اینجا خطاب خاص برای مؤمنان است که یا ایها الذین آمنوا ای مؤمنان اذا نودی للصلاة من یوم الجمعه فاسعوا الى ذکر الله وذروا البیع. در روز جمعه وقت نماز شما فقط سعیتان به خاطر نماز جمعه باشه. فاسعوا الى ذکر الله، این صیغه امر است.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. سلام خواران و برادران عزیز. نام من دکتر نیلوفر سامی است. من لید هلت ورکر هستم از افغان منتل هلت پروژه که یکی از پروژه افغان کولیشن است و چندین افغان ارگانیزیشن های دیگه که امرای ما همکاری میکنند این پروژه. این افغان ارگانیزیشن ها نامشان است Afghan Seniors Association of the Bay Area, Afghan Cultural Society, Afghan Professionals Network, Lemar TV و East Bay Agency for Children. و ما کمک های مالی خود از طرف Alameda County Behavioral Healthcare Services و Proposition 63 میگیریم. ما میخوایم درباره پروژه ما یک کمک برای شما بگویم بینندگان عزیز که افغان منتل هلت پروژه دو دانه گل مهم داره. یک گل ما است که ما میخوایم جلو کمک کنیم که افغانای ما در کمیونیتی ما که هستند در آلامدا کانتی واده که مشکلات روحی برشان پیدا میشه از خاطر بیکاری یا پرابلم که از خاطر بیخانه یا از خاطر که در اینجا که ما زندگی میکنیم در محیط امریکا یا بین فامیل که پرابلم ها پیدا میشه میتونن اینجا به آفیس ما بیارین که ما بتونیم کمک کنیم. و گل دوم ما است که وقتی که این پرابلم ها وقت پیدا میشه ما هلت نویگیترهای ما میتونن همراه شما کار کنن، همکاری کنن که بتونن مشکلات رفع کنن. و ما هر هفته از طرف لمر تیوی پروگرام های خود بخش میکنیم که در این پروگرام هر هفته ما یک پروگرامی که از طرف افغان کمیونیتی یا از افغان آلامدا کانتی می باشه برای شما معلومات میگوییم و این معلومات ها توسط آقای عجب خان پسون و آقای رمانشاه مومند بخش میشه برای شما. و اگر شما میخواین در آفیس ما بیاین ما در فریمانت هستیم در 39155 لیبرتی استریت سویت دی از ان دیوید 460 در فریمانت شهر فریمانت و نمره تلفن ما شماره تلفن ما از 510 745 1680 یا 1683. تشکر از توجهتان. خداحافظ.
Hi, how are you? Good morning. How are
Okay, thank you to Mr. Congressman Mike Honda for to take time to come and meet with our community. So thank you very much, Mr. Honda, for coming and visit us. Aisha Wahab now is reading about who is Mr. Mike Honda, and then we're going to start the program.
Mike is a very interesting individual. He's very dynamic because of his upbringing. He relates to a lot of the Afghan struggle because of the mere fact that Mike as a child, grew up in an internment camp, and he eventually went to San Jose State, and he worked in different types of jobs, and he worked from the ground up. He's not someone that was from the elite. He worked his way up. Mike eventually received his master's degree in San Jose State as well. Eventually was appointed planning commissioner of the city, and he moved on slowly, and he worked with the people. And while working with the people, he understands the cause and the goal of actually the people's struggle. And that's very important for us Afghans, because we came from a place where maybe we were doctors or engineers or whatever it may be, and we became the world's largest population of refugees. And we struggled backwards, where we might have been educated and had to become a janitor or a dishwasher. But eventually we are slowly moving up. And I think with Mike, he understands that struggle. And he's very much a people person as well as a politician for the people. So he always keeps that in mind in anything he does. So Mike, if you would like to say a few words.
Thank you. How come she's so young and knows so much about me? Thank you for that nice introduction. Salam. Let me introduce first my district director, Mary Maben.
Nice to meet you.
And a young man, Lemar Haystack. Mary's been a long time, well, ever since I started in 2000, directing my district activities. So she is a teacher by background, a mother of 4 young men. She raised 5 boys, her husband and 4 boys. And they're all very successful, so you know that she knows how to deal with young people and solve young people's issues, but also be an advocate for our communities. She's a fierce advocate for civil rights and social justice. And so, I'm very comfortable with her leading our district efforts. And Fremont and Newark are new areas for me as far as the political boundaries. So I just welcome this occasion to be able to meet with the Coalition of Afghans. Now, 2 things I need to ask you. One is, correct me when I'm wrong, and also teach me the customs and the mores of the, and I'm not even sure if this is a proper word, of the Afghanis or Afghanistanis? Afghans? Afghanis. And also teach me the different language groups that there exists, and religious groups, and customs, because I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to embarrass myself. So in that sense, I am your student. Okay? So if I'm successful, then you've been good teachers. If I'm not successful, then you need to be better teachers. Okay. And the reason I say that is because in Congress, we don't have many people from Afghanistan. We sent a lot of soldiers there, but we don't have a lot of people in Congress that understands the culture, the language, and the differences within the groups. Because I know as Japanese American that in my community we have different groups too that come from different provinces. We have different language, different customs. Because where I'm from southern Japan, Kyushu, the southern, not Okinawa, but Kyushu, the main part of the Japanese islands. And when I say that people from my district, my area, all the men are hard-headed, it's true. We're hard-headed, and we'll argue with people and things like that. But also we're compassionate, and if we drink too much, we cry. No, that's not true. We don't drink too much. But I just wanted to let you know that this is my ask of you, and to let me know. And There may be customs that are different between genders too, and I need to know that. And then the American-born and those who are raised in this country, they may have a different view of the current customs too, as I do of my own group. Having said that, I just thought I'd just open it up to your concerns. I think you read the letter that you wrote.
No, so Mujgan Darby, who is part of the Afghan Coalition, she will read our primary concerns.
Would you like me to stand?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'm Mishkan Darby. I'm a project director for the Afghan Mental Health Project and the Afghan Coalition. Dear Mr. Honda, we, the Afghan community, have gathered at the Afghan Coalition today, May 1st, 2012, to express to you our support of your representation of us in Congress. We are a group of individuals that are all different, but we have some very basic concerns. We write this letter to you in order to save time. However, each of these concerns are important to our community. With your help, we can progress in this society. Our concerns are, 1, we would like a shelter for our community. This shelter would be used for victims of domestic violence, new immigrants, and a treatment center for abuse and other people in dire circumstances. 2, housing. We would like for support to serve our elderly community. Current senior centers lack the capability of serving our seniors, and we believe that this is very important. Aid. We would like for our elders, men, women, and children to receive aid to start and continue programs that are crucial to both our culture and our success in this community. Programs that keep our heritage strong and also allow us to work well within the society. 4, Afghanistan. Although we are in the United States, we would like for the U.S. to support Afghanistan, not necessarily with troops, but with human aid, strictly education, agriculture, and nation building. We do not want the U.S. to turn its back on Afghanistan when the withdrawal is complete. This is from the Afghan Youth Peace Corps. We believe that our community has struggled for several generations in this country, as well as in Afghanistan. We have faced discrimination, a language barrier, war, displacement, being doctors in Afghanistan, and becoming janitors outside. The Afghan community is the largest refugee population in the world. We are often the most attacked and most ignored population as well. However, we know we can progress as long as our youth are molded into individuals that understand their background, respect their culture and history, and work hard to become an American, to live the American dream, similar to yourself. We invite you back anytime. We want you to understand that our fight, the Afghan community and the United States, all we want the same thing: hope, peace, education, and respect. Please let us know what we can do in our efforts to make our community stronger. Sincerely, the Afghan community.
You said nation building. What were the three things?
The 3 things for nation building is strictly education, agriculture, and nation building. Human aid as well.
Why don't you give a copy to him?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
This is way good for me to listen to. Okay, thank you for the letter. It's not an unusual letter. I think the letter is the content and the petition and the request is not unusual, especially for communities that are new arrivals. But I suspect that the Afghani population here is not all new. So tell me, when was the first wave or first group of folks who came from Afghanistan? When did they come in? Tell me a little bit about that.
1979.
Okay. Why?
Because of the Russian invasion in Afghanistan. That is the first time they changed the Afghan lives.
And those who came here were probably the most able to leave.
One thing I'm telling you, we are not came here by choice. We came here by force. Like other refugee, to come here to work or something, have a better life. We didn't want that one. We had a good life in our country. We were a poor country, but we liked the way we had over there.
Yeah.
We had that life, and we chose that life for many years. For that reason, you are not seeing that much Afghani before here. You said we don't have any representative in the Congress or something, because most of our people was staying in Afghanistan. And we love our country, but we forced to leave Afghanistan.
Yeah, I think wherever there is a war, I think wherever there's a war, especially a war that we're involved in, we usually have immigrants who come here not out of choice, but because they had no choice.
Yeah.
We become refugees in different countries, including here. The Vietnamese, the Laotians, the Hmongs, Cambodians, and before that, Russians and Afghanis. So that helps me understand a little bit. The issue of being here and having an advanced degree, having a profession, but not being able to practice it here. Talk a little bit about that for me, please, if you don't mind.
What is that?
We have right now, we have doctors here, we have professors here, we have head of the university here. Mo Qayyumi is the state, San Jose State University president. He's
Sure, Mohammed.
Yeah. We have all kind of representative right now, but they are the young generations. And now it starts maybe in about 10, 15 years, we will have some in the Congress, some in the Senate, some in the big. We have also Khalil Zad. Khalil Zad was the State Department head, and he was ambassador. He was in the representative of the United States in UN. He did a lot of things. He is Afghan also.
And
Yes, well, firstly, I would like to welcome you to our community as our member. And secondly, I would like to draw your attention towards, as we are all Asians originally, the root, you are from Japan and we are from Afghanistan, is from Asia.
You're better looking than I am.
Yeah. Well, Afghanistan was, from olden days, was situated between two great powers.
Yeah.
British on one side and Russian on the other side. It was like a grain between two pieces of mill,
Yes.
We have been kept like that. It was not our wish that to stay as we are, but we were kept as a buffer state. Ultimately, after the war, when British retired, India split into two parts, Pakistan and India, and then we were released on this side. But the Russians wanted to come to the hot waters, to warm waters. So ultimately, they invaded us. The comparison between the area, and they had got 4.5 million army armed with everything, and they had got 27,000 atomic bombs. But they were not ashamed to cross the border and crush us, a small little country like a Texas. Our area is like a Texas, They invaded us. They invaded us. But from the Alexander's time, Alexander came and invaded us. But in Afghanistan, they could come, invade Afghanistan, but Afghan land, Afghan sons You know, we say two things are born together with a man, at least for Afghans. I don't know, with Japanese maybe the same thing. One is the mother's love and country's love. Both are in the chromosomes, which if the mother produces a baby, two things are born with it: love of country, love of mother. So the country we love, we have been loving it from the olden days, for 1,000 years back. So nobody could stay longer than in Afghanistan if they try their luck. But I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
British tried their luck. They were ashamed. They went back, and then the Russians tried their back. You know, they killed 1.2 million of us. They killed 1.2 million of us. If one person has 5 liter of blood, we lost 6 million liter of blood due to Russia. But the United Nations data shows that they disabled 800,000 Afghans, that they are still, some of them are living, some of them have died. So the calamity that came on us, we resisted. We resisted. It was not the thing that as soon as Russians came, we ran away. No. We resisted to the last minute that they killed 1.2 million, and then we ran away. When we ran, we scattered all over the world. But one thing we Afghans know, that the knowledge is power. Anybody who gets stuck to the knowledge, he could get his purposes. Therefore, when we came to United States, or we went to Germany, to France, to England, everywhere, we did not leave our sons to astray to streetwalkers. We put them to the schools. But now we have got the record of 30 years. 30 or 32 years that we came to United States, but now you will, in every university that you go, you will find professors, Afghan professors, Afghan assistants, even in this your area, Qayyumi is a big man. Qayyumi is Afghan. So therefore, we Afghans do not want to beg. We want to work for our living. We want to work for our living, but through the knowledge that our sons and we get. So in the United States, you will never see an Afghan begging.
You're right, Mr. Khamosh. I think, Mr. Honda, a lot of people have questions from you. I think we're going to start.
No, we'll take the time.
Okay, good.
It's
As long
important,
as you
it's
have
important
time.
for me to listen to. Yes, sir.
Actually, my name is Barmal Gran. I have to make one correction. It's not Afghani. It's Afghans. Afghani goes for Afghan money, Afghani restaurants, but when you're actually
So
referring...
it's not...
Yes, it's actually, in a sense, it's condescending if you say Afghani, so let's say it's Afghans. So it's you have to, I know that sometimes I have to make that correction with some of my American friends because they didn't know this is Afghani. So we have to make that distinction because when you're talking about the Afghan people, it's Afghans. So secondly, the biggest challenge that we have in this country is because we were never united. And the next phase of Afghan is among the youth of Afghans that actually grew up here, like myself, and then there's a few of us here. Because the education and the knowledge that we brought in as Afghans here, we have a better understanding on what's at stake. With the Afghan gentlemen and ladies that are here, we respect what they went through. But the fact is, one of the biggest challenges that we have, we don't have a united platform. So that's one of the projects that I'm working on. It's called Afghan Media Broadcasting Company because it's a progressive media. Because we want to go and what's at stake. We want to go after the truth. We want to talk about what our leadership has done in Afghanistan. It's about their selfish agenda. And it's about, just like the Arab Spring, we want to bring Afghan Spring, because it's the youth that actually can bring in that sort of a change. Because our intentions are clean, because we're authentic, because when we go after something, that's what our passion is. So hopefully, through Congress, if somehow with your colleagues and stuff like that, if we could connect to people that say, you know what, they're Afghans that want to bring change. Let's listen to them. Let's not listen to the people that are already there because they've done enough damage, you know, for the country. So let's listen to the Afghans that are here, the knowledgeable and the educated ones, and listen to them so they can bring a change. Because we actually do care about our country. We care about those Afghan women and children that are suffering. I'm sorry, the billions of dollars are in Karzai's account. What are we doing about that? His account needs to be frozen. Because him and his brothers have taken this country into like a mafia. And the U.S. still allows them to run around and roam around just like, you know, just anything else? No, that's not acceptable. I mean, so what we have to do is like we have to reconnect with the younger generation of Afghans, also with respect to our older generation, but the future of Afghanistan is in the hands of Afghan youth and the ones actually that are brought up here, and also millions of young Afghans that are there. So thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you for Ronak Popal, and I wanted to say thank you to Ronak Popal and to the whole group for organizing this and for you to be here. Myself and Barmal were children of the war. We came here in the 70s, and I am glad and proud to be in the United States. Most of our parents came here by choice because they knew this is the land of opportunity. We could make something out of ourselves. Now that we did, now with Congress's help, we could raise our voice, we could go back to our country, and we could help if we want to.
Mr. Honda, I've worked with the Afghan community from a very young age. I was born and raised here, but I was born in an environment where everyone around me was Afghan. So I have a particular respect for the generations coming together. I don't think that one generation can do it without the other. I've worked on the ground with multiple groups, including the Afghan Coalition, seeing the problems that the community has here. There is an immense amount of domestic violence happening in homes, not only within the older generation, but within the younger generation as well. There are secrets being kept by children because they're afraid of overstepping boundaries, and therefore they get themselves into circumstances that are less than, I would say, great for them. There are individuals who come here, like the family here, who have actually translated for the army, but are now practically homeless. These are the kind of issues that need to be addressed. What are we doing for the trauma that our Afghans are experiencing in the United States? What are we doing for the numerous amount of people who went to Afghanistan to translate, or Afghans in diaspora who went home to try to help, who are coming back with trauma? What are we doing for individuals who were in Afghanistan translating with the army, like this family, who are coming here and who now need help and cannot provide for themselves?
Who served the United States Army,
Yeah.
and got injured. Unfortunately, he's here, but completely.
But these are the issues that we face on a daily basis. The intergenerational divide is huge. Parents can't speak to their children, children can't speak to their parents. The older generation's extremely traumatized. We have people who were doctors in Afghanistan, who were lawyers in Afghanistan, who were engineers, who can't provide for themselves here because of the traumas that they've experienced. And these are the issues that we see on a daily basis. We have people who go to Afghanistan and bring wives here who cannot care for them, and so their wives are left out on the street, and they need shelter because they're victims of domestic violence. Where do those people go? There is no culturally competent or sensitive shelters really that in existence, with the exception of one that can care for them.
Which one is that?
So that's Nissa, and they have maybe 6 beds. And even with them, we have to go and we have to advocate on a daily basis.
Who is Nissa?
It's an Islamic shelter that is in Fremont. But we need services for these individuals.
NISA?
Yes.
Pleased to meet you.
This is Mr. Mujadidi. Mr. Aruni. Mr. Ravi. Mr. Zazai. Mr. Jawshan. Mr. Waka. Mr. Nawabi. Mr. Naziri. Mr. Ander. Mr. Kudus. Mr. Mana. Mr. Hussain Khair. Mr. Musini. Mr. Merchant and Rotterdam. Mr. Salimi.
Well, thank you so much for your invitation to come and join you today. That school or after school. Here in Fremont, we specialize a little bit more in working with immigrant families who are wanting to connect to the hundreds of different services here. So either Medi-Cal or getting involved in a school, because sometimes these things are so confusing. They're still confusing to me. And for someone who comes from another country and another culture, it's even more confusing. So we have staff. Some of you may have met some of my staff, Giselle Fieto or Shala, a number of our staff work from, in this program we have about 10 staff from different countries around the world who work with families to help get them service. We also have, we have a number of programs. We work with youth who are being released from juvenile hall for their illegal activity. We have grief and loss program. We have after school. And one of the programs we have that some of you may be aware of is called the Child Assault Prevention Program. And that program is to help prevent what we call quote unquote child abuse. And everybody has a different definition of what that could be and what it isn't. And it also varies in definition for each country, because some countries say you need to spank your child on the behind. That's okay. Some countries say no, and then we know in our country, so kind of in the middle. And we know too that in that situation that there is there's many situations where people who look just like everybody else, look like us, but we don't know. What happens in the home with children is something that we don't know. So a part of what our job is to work with communities, at least in this particular program, and just to work out to prevent it, to either provide education for the children, for the parents, to give suggestions on other ways so people don't hit their children and that sort of thing. I know that some of our staff, Norma Rodriguez,
Yes.
has met with some.
She at one time, and she will have another 1 week after. She has another meeting here.
She's going to, I've heard she's coming here, yes.
Yeah, she's coming.
She is an international expert on this issue. We have a training center where we have people from around the world who come to get trained. Actually, before I was doing what I do now, I used to do the same thing. Norma has helped serve over 400,000 children. And so I'm glad that she's met, and what I've heard through her is that she has been welcomed by Asaba, and I also heard that you have given an offer to consult with her to give some guidance, because every country and every culture is a little different. And I have to say, I very much appreciate that support. It's these kinds of of collaborations between organizations that we really appreciate. East Bay Agency for Children has multiple collaborations across the county, and I'm aware, although just a little bit, of some of the organizations in the Afghan community here in the Fremont area. And as some of you may be aware, we've been involved, like we are with any of the other communities, in providing some level of support, particularly for new coming families. Well, thank you very much. And we got a federal grant about 5 years ago to help do more of that support. And so we've been doing that, hopefully with the community. That support's going to go away pretty soon. But we've really appreciated that support, and also sometimes sit at the table with some of you, the PEI, I think we're at that table here, to help. There's more need than there is money to help arrange that. So I just appreciate the opportunity to come down and meet with you and to share these basic things and answer questions, or if you think there's other things I should talk about.
Okay. First of all, thank you for coming here. I know you have a busy schedule, and you made some time for us to come here, and we will appreciate it. We would like to work with your agency as a ASABA is established on about 6 years ago, and we had some interior problem in the future. And now we solve our problems, and we are a strong organization. We have every Thursday meetings, and every Thursday we have about 70 members, and each member is represented from a large families, like their grandfather and the families, their grandmother. We have some women also in our organization. They are coming on the big events, like we have a exhibition, or we have a big meeting. Their women also coming, our members, but they're paying their memberships, and we would like to work with you guys. And in the past, we worked with you on the, I think, Zamani, when Zamani was here, you guys was helping on some of the exhibition we had it before, and we would like to get some that kind of exhibition, but we don't have. We are an organization. We didn't receive any grant from nobody. The only things we got it only $3,000 from the mental health.
You did.
Only $3,000 from the mental health, which is we doing all of the jobs, and we receive only $3,000. That was the only grant we got during this 6 years. And we would like to, if you find some way for us to make big exhibitions, like 3 months or 2 months, we rent a hall, and we call some scholars to come in, and we will invite some more Afghan families. We would like to make a bridge between the young generation and the old generations. We want to bring the families and educate them about the law and sexual harassment and all kind of things, which is the families thinking this is normal, but it's not normal. And some of the things is a big punishment, which is they're thinking it is a normal, because they don't have that kind of information. And we want to work with you. And then if the members have some question, we will also discuss this.
I have to say that we definitely would like to work with you, and it's always a struggle to look for the funding.
Yeah.
And that's always, and right now we don't have any of that. But what we could do is take a look and see how can we do that together for the future.
That is a good thing. We want to do that. Yeah. That is what. Because that things is making our organization stronger and also more known to the outside people. Because right now we are under this rooms, and our community knows about us. Some of the problems coming to us, and we will solve the problems. But first of all, we have 2 days here and 2 days in the mosque. because we don't have any kind of funds to get another room for us. We will go to the mosque,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
it's not. It's hard to do the things which is we doing here.
It's always a problem, but I
Yeah.
guess what I can say is, the funds that we have now, they're already spoken for.
Okay.
But if in the future, we look, it's always good to start relationship,
Yes.
and usually when I do that, usually when I do that, then we have the opportunity to look together for other kinds of, whatever the opportunities are out there.
Okay.
Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, we want to work together. That's
Yeah.
a good thing. Yeah.
That-
If it's possible, it's okay. Otherwise, we will we'll work with you.
Either way.
There is no problem. We will work with the organizations, and we like to work with you. But if it is possible, please, you note it.
We
Yeah.
work together
Yeah.
to look for
Yeah,
funds too.
yeah.
Because you can only do so much without money, you can do a lot more with.
Yeah, yeah.
I understand.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
And we have here three people. They are asking some question. First is Mr. Farid Zazai.
Yes, Mr. Steve,
Yes,
I have some very short question.
sure.
You talk about the children. What do you have for our community?
What do we have for?
Our community.
Community.
So we have a number of things. So here, actually right here in this building, when you go to that welcome center, our staff are the staff that greet all the people who come into the building. So what they do is they help, when people come into these big buildings, they don't know where things are, they help put them in the right direction. They also help them fill out some of those forms. We have our own building, where Grimmer Elementary School is. We have a portable there, and so our staff are there, and they meet with families to help connect them with Medi-Cal, Medicare, general assistance. So it's for the concrete needs of the financial needs of the family, if there's a government support. We also have counseling in the schools. So we have mental health staff in, I think, 4 schools, Durham, Cabrillo, I forget the other 2. And then, and that's in Fremont. Now in Oakland we have a lot of service there too. And then in Hayward and in Fremont we have our child abuse prevention program. And that's where we have staff who go into the schools and they meet with children. They talk with children about how to keep themselves safe, strong, and free. And so they teach them about first graders, third graders, and fifth graders. Teach them about how can you tell if this is a good touch, this maybe is not a good touch to a girl. They teach them those things. And parents also teach that as well. But they teach it from a child perspective. That same program also goes to community groups like here, or to the mosques.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Nuri.
Yes, Steve, actually, Mr. Zazai asked my question. Yeah. Thanks for coming, Steve. My question is this, when people are coming from Afghanistan immigration over here, they have a lot of problem with medical, Medicare, social service, these kind of things. And the big problem, which I understand, is many women, they have so many kids at home, but they want to go out, but they cannot afford to send their kids to daycare, these things. Do you have something, this kind of program for the women or for the family to send their kids to daycare or kindergarten or something like this?
Our staff know where the daycare programs are, and they can help connect people to the daycare programs. What we don't have is the funding to cover for the cost.
Because the daycare, as I know, they charge a lot. They charge a lot. They cannot afford it to send their kids, 2-3 kids in daycare, and they.
There were some daycare programs that will provide the service for sliding scale, so it's below. I mean, they'll always have a fee, but if the fee is generally, the last I heard, it was about $450 a month or something like that. Yeah, so it depends on the age, but it depends on the income too. Some programs will charge less. So our staff know those programs. So if you know women who have that concern, or if any family member, just go to the front desk and they'll connect you.
Mr. Anani. Thank you, Steve, for coming. And it is a very interesting subject, actually, the child abuse. As you mentioned, the location, cultural, and also the country and region has a lot to do with the child bringing up, and also in terms of child abuse definition, because that definition changes from region to region and country to country. There are things that in one region is acceptable, where in another region is not, in the same way in the country. And it is hard to draw the line in some places, especially with the people who are coming from different culture. The group that you're meeting today, they are all seniors of Afghan community. When we came over to this country, we were all young. We came with our children. My children were ranging from 7 to 8 years old. They are graduates of colleges now, and they have children. So it was very difficult for us to go through the different challenges. But the question that I'm making is actually in terms of your organization's support for children in Union City, because I am located in that area. What sort of supports do you have provided for that area?
Well, in Union City, we also provide that particular program, the Child Assault Prevention Program. We have been providing mental health services at Cesar Chavez and Conley Caballo School.
Okay.
But Tiburcio Vasquez is the primary mental health provider on those in Union City. So that's the limitations. We're just talking with the city of Newark about providing some more service there because they don't have much. But and going back to what you mentioned before, one of the reasons I wanted to meet with you all is that I have met at one point or another with a number of folks here, and I know that the members of this organization are community leaders here in the Afghan community, but all cultures raise their children differently. In one culture, children sleeping in the same bed as their parents for a long time is normal, it's expected. Matter of fact, in our culture, is unusual, I think. Most cultures have that, and our culture is not. And so it's about having those conversations and figuring out when does a quote become quote unquote abuse.
Exactly, and that's what I was actually pointing out, that there are some cases that you would see that's unacceptable in one area and unacceptable in another area. As you mentioned, our children are sleeping with their parents up to 10 and 11 years old even. And in addition to that, even they live after they married with their parents, and the parents, or actually the children, are providing a social services like the governments do for their parents. So dependability on children in the Eastern world, as a matter of fact, is more on children than on the government and on other societies that are provided from the government side. So basically, children are very important in the family, and the discipline and also the abuse has a very narrow line to draw, where which one is discipline, which one is abuse. And that definition is different from one area to the other area. And it's very nice to talk about it in detail and where that applies.
That's true here in the United States as well. There are different subcultures in this country that view that line in different places, and we have to be sensitive to that. I think one of the things that we would look to this group for, too, is to educate our staff, Norma included, who is an international expert, around the views from the Afghan population. obviously we have women on our staff, Shala and Jamia, who are women from Afghanistan. What we don't have is a men's view. And